I'm just curious, like, what differences are in your game do you feel compared to last year, given the experience you had and some of the stuff you worked on?
I think the biggest thing I took away from last year was just the experience. I think the more reps you get in live games, the more comfortable you get. So starting 15 games last year, I feel a lot more comfortable, a lot more confident in what I need to do to win and what not to do to lose. Obviously last year I threw 15 picks. That's unacceptable. And that's the easiest way to lose games is turn the ball over. So if I can keep the ball in our possession, just move the chains. And, obviously against Packers last year, we moved the ball. We got down to the red zone. We just couldn't punch it in. So against these guys, move the ball, get down the red zone, and score this time. I think, I like our chances.
What things did you see in yourself even this summer that showed you some of the progression that you feel you've made?
Yeah, obviously experience doesn't really help you in the off season. There's a couple things last year that I knew I needed to work on, whether it's footwork or arm strength, and so I went out to Cali a couple times and worked with the same guy that Carson works with to try and improve on that, and I feel like I have. It's still a work in progress, but something I work on every day.
Along those lines, I mean, what's kind of the physiology of everybody? Everybody's different. So what was it that you saw or you were told, hey, this will help you with velocity and other things?
Yeah, I was really just kind of using my arm last year. Wasn't really getting my hips into it at times. I think that's where you get all your power from. So again, I've tried to use my hips a lot more. It's kind of like a golf swing. It's pretty much the same exact thing as a golf swing. So I've been, golfed a lot, and tried to work on those mechanics. So that was my off season.
Can you compare yourself to when you got thrust into the lineup last year to now? What just in terms of confidence, maybe, in having done it a little bit?
Yeah, like I just said earlier, 15 games of playing and live football, it's going to give you the confidence and what you need to do, what you need to look for, and what not to do. So. Again, I've been looking at a lot of film from last year when I played, good games, bad games, and the game against Green Bay last year. And I just feel like I'm, head and shoulders above of where I was at that point.
Taylor, obviously we've talked through your journey here about getting more recognition and attention, but this offseason was after you started 15 games. What was that like? Did you feel like you were getting more attention, more recognition, or just how was your offseason maybe different than, before?
Yeah, the previous, 6-7 years, never really played. So I was kind of like under the radar, go home, don't really get noticed. It's, it's nice. I can go out to restaurants and eat. And now, now it's totally different. Which is, it's nice at some points. You go out to dinner and you might get a meal for free. But again, there's a lot of people that want to, take pictures or stuff like that. And it's just different. There's a lot of good to it. There's a lot, there's some annoyance to it a little bit. But again, this is something I've been looking forward to my whole life, playing football in the NFL, and that's what comes with it.
And I don't know if this is accurate, but it seems like you've got more of a calm, confident presence now than maybe we did before, especially when you first got here. Do you feel that? And if so, is that just from the experience you've kind of been going through the last year or so?
Yeah, I think that has something to do with it. And again, playing 15 games, you start to feel more confident. The games start slowing down. The week to week you understand it. I was just a little bit overwhelmed last year. First time starting, 15 games, it gets to you a little bit. But I kind of understand what goes into it from week to week, day to day, and prepare for it.
Did that compound as the season went on? Like you're struggling to keep pace and keep up?
Well, when you're losing 4 games straight, yeah, your body's starting to break down a little bit. But again, when you win 4 straight, things are getting easier. So, the secret recipe is just going out and winning. That's the only stat that matters.
Of all the weeks to come back, it's against the Packers. What's that mean to kind of get another chance at them?
Yeah, it's cool. As many of you know, I was born a Green Bay fan. My dad's from Wisconsin. So I grew up watching Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. And one of my last memories of me and my father was we got to watch the 2011 Super Bowl together. And that's when Green Bay won. And Aaron Rodgers won that thing. So to go up to Lambeau last year was super neat. And to get the first start this year against Green Bay at home, it's going to be super cool. So, I'm excited for it.
Hey, Taylor, what was the first thing that went through your mind when you knew you were going to be back out here again?
I was excited. A little anxious. I remember Carson telling me right after the game that he felt like he had a cracked finger, and I told him I was going to pretend like he didn't say that to me. I had some plans to go play some golf down in Norfolk, so went down there and worked on my mechanics a little bit. But no, I was excited. It's unfortunate that it had to come in these circumstances, but everyone in that locker room would be lying to you if they said they weren't excited to go play if it was their shot. So, I'm just trying to make the most of the opportunity.
Now, Taylor, last year you got limited time with Curtis with all of his injuries, and then this year, obviously, Jahan, and hopefully he's going to be able to play this weekend as a quarterback, and again, getting another crack at a team that's very similar to what you saw last time. How can those two really help you go out there this time and get the win for your team?
Yeah, it's huge. You guys seen what Curtis can do. It's amazing, and I've been with him in Carolina, so the timing with me and him is, I feel like it's there. I know what to expect from him. Jahan, on the other hand, I haven't got a lot of reps with him, throughout the OTAs and off season. Carson was really working a lot with him. But I feel comfortable with him. He's a smart guy. He makes a lot of good plays. And I feel like I have a lot of trust in him, and I'm sure he has the same in me. So it's gonna be fun to have those guys out there and see what they can do.
Feels like the circumstances when you come into a game are always pretty wild, whether it was just getting here through COVID, preparing for a playoff game, even last year, the first one, and now this. What do you kind of make of, you're not just like another player coming in for another player? It always seems to be the craziest kind of circumstances. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I don't know. I try not to think of it. Again, I think the biggest thing I've done pretty well throughout the years is just being prepared if my number is called. That's going from taking classes and being called up and playing Brady in the playoffs to, same thing with Fitz last year and Carson right now. So, I think that's the biggest thing as a professional is just you have to be ready when your number's called. That's how you get your opportunity. Not everyone's a first to third round pick where you're going to be starting immediately. So, I think that's the biggest thing I've done.
And with focusing on arm strength, you still took a lot of shots down the field last year. Does this allow you to take more, or do you think it'll be about the same? How do you think your improved arm strength?
I want to say it's more. I think I just feel like I'm more comfortable with it. I know where to put the ball. I know how far I need to throw it. I'm more comfortable with those guys down the field. So I just feel more comfortable throwing it down the field this year.
You had the comments this offseason about, Carson's making X amount of money, you're making Y, and you understand him being the starter. Mm-hmm. But now that you're starting, this team needs you. Like, have you felt like they've always been good to you, or did you understand the move to go get Carson? Just what's that dynamic like?
Yeah, I understood it, and I get it. You're always looking for the next best guy in this league, and that's the only way you get better. So, I understood it. I accepted it, and I just, kept working hard. That's the only thing I could do. That's the only thing I could control. So, again, throughout the whole offseason, I was like, I'm going to prepare like I'm starting because who knows what's going to happen. The NFL's a crazy game. 100% of the people in the NFL get hurt at some point. So, again, it's unfortunate that Carson got hurt. But, here we are, and I'm excited to go play.
And after having the starting experience of last year and then the 6 weeks of watching games this year, has that helped you kind of see things differently from the sidelines?
Yeah, you can you kind of take a step back and see the bigger picture. When you're in the heat of things, it's hard to kind of realize that stuff because there's bullets flying and you just don't know. But taking a step back, being on the sideline, kind of seeing things progress, seeing what coaches are talking about, you improve that way. So I definitely think it's helped me throughout the year, throughout last year and this year.
You mentioned how your familiarity with the offense and Terry and Curtis when you guys were in Carolina has helped you. In a similar vein, J.D. McKissic is also that way in the passing game as a running back. What does it mean to have that kind of security blanket? And what does his experience and comfortability in this offense bring to this team and help you?
Do you want J.D.?
Yeah.
Yeah. J.D.'s an awesome guy, not just on the field but in the locker room as well. He's probably one of the most liked guys on the team. And, he's funny. Sometimes I'll start saying the play, and he'll try and finish the play before I can finish it. He knows his offense. He knows what our reads are. If he could throw the ball, he could probably be a quarterback. But he's a special part of this team, and he brings a lot to the table. So it's nice to have him.
Sam and Nikki, last two. Are there parts of your weekly preparation that are different this year that you learned from last year specifically in terms of what you'll do this year to prepare?
Are you talking about in the film room and stuff?
Yeah, or just during the week, what you're doing to get ready?
Again, it's been a little bit different from last year because I was kind of thrust in week 2. So, from day-to-day basis, working on my body, whether I'm getting treatment, getting the workouts in, make sure I get my conditioning in, and then film. I watch a lot of film throughout the day, and I do believe that there is film overload. I think if you watch too much, you start to imagine things or see things that might not be there. It might just be one play that you're talking about, and you're like, well, that was just one play. So I try and balance all of that out. So when Sunday comes, I feel very comfortable and I'm not overthinking things.
How do you know when you've watched the right amount?
Well, there's no certain timetable. I think it's just you can only watch the same amount of clips so many times to where you get it, you understand it. But I do believe if you keep watching it, you start thinking, hey, I might be able to throw it to him in this window. Well, that might be a little dangerous, and that's just one clip out of 1,000. So I think it's just keep it simple and go out there and play fast.
Over these last 2 years, as you've seen more and more fans wearing the number 4 jersey and you're taking selfies with fans on the sidelines, has there ever been a moment where it really kind of sinks in, your popularity and, how fans feel about you here?
I try not to think about it. My biggest thing when it comes to fans is I've always been a football fan. And, again, I've always had dreams of being in the NFL. So I remember when I was a kid and I went to a Falcons training camp down in Georgia, and those players that took the time to, take a picture with you or sign their autograph, or sign whatever you had, that meant a lot to me. So it kind of made me dream about, hey, I want to go to the NFL. That it's cool. So if I can just give that back to the kids, the fans, whoever they are, that's just my way of kind of giving back. And yeah, it's great having fans, people encouraging you and hoping that you do well. Obviously, you want that. So hopefully we can go out there on Sunday and give them something to be proud of.
Ron said earlier today that you're almost like a coach out there because of your familiarity, your experience here. Do you feel that more just in the way you work with Sam, you back up Carson, the other guys? Do you feel like you're somewhat of a coach on the sidelines when you're?
Yeah, I do. And it's a cool feeling, when you have guys come up to you and asking you, hey, what did you see here? What can I do to help you guys out? Stuff like that. And, it means a lot to me. It means they trust me. So, yeah, I think that helps out a lot of people. We have some young tight ends in there that sometimes get confused. The playbook's kind of tough to learn. So, whatever way I can help them out, I'll do it. So I think that's one thing I kind of bring to the table. That's pretty cool. Thanks, guys.
You said you worked on your mechanics this weekend. Are you talking about the short game or